The entire globe is today the site of a momentous conflict. As each side attempts to prove to the world the superiority of its position, the conflict is fought with the words of diplomats, with gestures of friendship and help to uncommitted countries, even with cultural demonstrations. It is fought indeed on every level of man's experience, for the stakes are high. As one of the adversaries in the conflict, we see a challenge as great as any in our historic past. A challenge not, we hope, to be met and joined in battle, but to be faced and fought in the hearts and hopes of men. It is the challenge of ideas.
Yeah, I don't know if they all had a sword. I know many of them did, but I don't know if Elle had a sword of her own, right? Otherwise, why would she be so interested in purchasing Bud's sword? Or the bride's sword, I guess.
Maybe a collection.
Oh, she wants matching Hattori Hanzo swords?
Yeah, I mean...
That's understandable.
You just can't have one.
Right, what do you get the assassin who has everything? Another Hattori Hanzo sword is the answer.
Because they're so rare. Wait, should we start? Good day. This is Jurisfiction, and my name is Nima Ashtiani.
My name is Adam Kirshner, and basically Jurisfiction is a conversation about whether real laws apply to fictional characters and circumstances.
Adam, are you a Quentin Tarantino fan?
I'm a big Quentin Tarantino fan. Are you a Quentin Tarantino fan?
I am a big Quentin Tarantino fan, and for those that follow us on our media of socialness, every Tuesday is a Tarantino Tuesday post. Today we will be discussing Kill Bill.
It's our big finale, right? It's our big two-part.
That's right. We're going to be going through both Kill Bills 1 and 2 to close out our season, and we're going to be discussing a lot of criminal law because there's a lot of, well, I guess by the name kind of makes sense, a lot of killing.
Right. When the name of the movie begins with the word kill, there's a high probability that there will be a substantial amount of killing in that movie.
So where do we start with this? I guess from the beginning?
Yeah, let's start with sequentially the victims of Black Mamba, or Beatrix Kiddo, or the bride, or whatever else you would like to refer to her as, and determine what degree of homicide, if any, Black Mamba should receive if she were tried for her crimes.
So for those who haven't seen Kill Bill, the story starts off with a lady played by Uma Thurman, who is the bride, Beatrix Kiddo, etc., Black Mamba. She's in a hospital bed, in a coma. Buck and the John.
Buck and the John, yeah.
They've both been attacked and harmed and maybe even killed by Black Mamba. And
right.
While we start with the John, the big guy, the John, that starts the whole thing off. He gets his lip bit and he's bleeding and dying on the floor. Is Beatrix in trouble for that?
So the analysis begins with, is it a homicide? If it is a homicide, what type of homicide is it? Is it murder in the first degree, murder in the second degree, just manslaughter? Are there excuses and are there justifications?
Exactly.
If we do establish it. So homicide is basically whenever one human being causes the death of another human being.
Right.
Murder is whenever there is malice aforethought, whenever a human being causes the death of another human being. The malice aforethought just basically means you have time to think about whether you should cause the death of another human being, and you do not change your mind. You do kill another human being. You cause the death of another human being.
Right.
So that's murder. First degree murder is especially, where you have sufficient time to think about it. Second degree murder
kind of comes up on the spot.
Comes up on the spot, right? But you knowingly and intentionally kill them.
Yes.
A lesser level is manslaughter. Manslaughter is essentially, it's a sudden strong impulse and it results in the death of another human being, but you do not necessarily intend, and you certainly do not have malice aforethought to cause the death of another human being. It's an immediate response.
It's in the heat of passion.
Heat of passion to commit a violent act, but without a premeditated intention to do so.
Right.
So there's excuses and there's justifications, right? The excuse would be it was in the heat of passion, right? So that would lower it from murder one
to manslaughter.
To manslaughter, yeah.
And then there's defenses such as
justifications. Right? If it could be homicide, but nevertheless be a justifiable homicide. If, for instance, you are the likely victim of sexual assault, that's one justification for homicide. If it's necessary to resist the sexual assault with an amount of force that results in the death of another human being. If you're a woman who has been in a coma for 6 years and you are partially paralyzed and a large approximately 300 pound maybe 7-foot-tall male is attempting to sexually assault you, arguably that's a justification, right, for you to use an amount of force to stop that from happening.
Right, definitely. I mean, the guy's clearly going to do harm to her or do anything to her that she wouldn't want to happen. She's aware of it. She would have the right to defend herself. And, I mean, it'd be fair to say that if someone attacks you, you will defend yourself in some way. And if she bit the guy on the face and on the neck, she may not have intended the guy to die, but it's just a consequence of her defending herself and his actions.
And similarly with Buck, the male nurse, she heard him tell the John that he has, extensive knowledge about sexually assaulting the bride.
Right.
While she was in a coma. So she has a strong reason to believe either that he would attempt to do so again, or that he would harm her, potentially to the point of killing her, so that he is not found liable for all of his misconduct with coma victims. It's arguably reasonable for her to use a level of force that may have resulted in his death when he returned to the hospital room also.
It's pretty obvious she's terrified. She wakes up after 6 years, probably has had some episodes of waking up along the way because she has some kind of like brief flashbacks about him. And when she wakes up, she jolts up and she's afraid and then realizes that she's no longer pregnant. She's very upset, and then she quickly lays back down and then realizes she's about to be attacked, which...
Yeah, she has no moment to think really about, what are my options, right? It's just, I'd better defend myself immediately.
Exactly. So, Big Guy and Buck those are fair kills.
Justifiable
homicides.
I would agree. If we were on the jury, I think we would both agree.
I think so. So then, after that, she gets to the certain wagon.
Mm-hmm.
She finally wiggles her big toe after, I think, 10 hours.
Is that how long it takes?
It's some long period of time, but she's there, and she wiggles her big toe, and then she said, all right, let's get the other ones going, and let's get out of here. And the first thing that she does is she goes to a nice suburban neighborhood where she meets...
Yeah, it's around, when school is over, sometime around then.
Oh, right, because the kid comes home at that time. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so middle of the afternoon, suburban area.
Beatrix goes to the suburban area. She sees Vernita Green.
She sees an old friend, an old coworker.
An old coworker. Drops in to say hello.
Among other things.
Other things. And they have a nice banter. So this is Vernita Green.
Here's my recollection of how it happens. Black Mamba comes with malice aforethought. She intends to kill Vernita Green that moment.
Mm-hmm.
However, in the process of attempting to murder Vernita Green's daughter returns from school, and then Vernita and Beatrix discontinue fighting. Vernita gives Beatrix a cup of coffee. They talk about old times. Vernita beseeches Black Mamba not to kill her in her home.
Right.
And then Vernita suggests, let's go to a park at night. We specifically will wear black clothes. That was a little more than necessary, I felt. And we will have an old-fashioned knife fight.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Vernita suggests, let's attempt to kill each other at a future time. So then in response, Black Mamba accepts Vernita's offer to attempt to kill each other at a park at night. And no longer has malice aforethought at that moment, right?
No.
She's just gonna stand around and drink coffee and talk with her former coworker. And Vernita Green makes a bowl of cereal, or appears to be making a bowl of cereal for her daughter. Right. She reaches for a particular box of cereal, and it has a special prize inside. That special prize is a handgun, and Vernita Green attempts to murder Black Mamba using the handgun.
Yes.
That is concealed in a cereal box.
And she misses.
Vernita misses.
And then Black Mamba, I think, pulls a knife out of her boot.
So first she kicks a coffee cup across the room at Vernita to throw her off her guard, to throw Vernita off her guard. And then she throws the knife.
And I believe that's what kills her.
The knife, that'll do it, right? Knife to the head will typically kill. There's no reason to believe that there was only one bullet in that handgun concealed in the cereal box.
Oh,
so it was
fair.
likely
Okay.
for Beatrix to think that Vernita would continue to attempt to kill her.
Yes, it's fair to say that Beatrix would think that Vernita would attempt to kill her. So Beatrix would get charged with homicide, and she'd say, Wait a second. This lady shot a gun at me. I threw a knife at her because I needed to stop her. So she'd be able to claim self-defense.
Yeah, the prosecutor would say, oh, well, no, you showed up with malice aforethought, and in fact you attempted to murder her just prior to that. In response to which the defense would say, maybe attempted murder beforehand, but that malice aforethought discontinued at the moment that Beatrix agreed no longer to attempt to kill Vernita at that moment. It was in defense. The resulting homicide was in defense to the attack by Vernita.
I'd agree with that. I'd say that's self-defense. I'd say she get off the hook for that one.
Wouldn't be off the hook if she succeeded before the child came
no.
Before Vernita's daughter came
No.
And wouldn't be self-defense if they show up at the park at night. That would be, murder one.
Right.
But because it was in response to the serial gun shooting, I would say that's justifiable homicide.
So then after Mamba kills...
She makes a list.
She does make a list. Maybe she checks it twice.
Yeah.
And I think on her list is just who's naughty.
Yeah, it's strictly a naughty list.
But she makes a list while she's on a plane, and she goes to...
She's flying to Okinawa.
She flies to Okinawa. Mm-hmm. And she goes to Okinawa, and she's looking for Oren Ishii.
Oren Ishii, right, yeah.
What was her designation?
So the list is, Dear Diary, I sure would like to kill Oren Ishii. I sure would like to kill Copperhead, Vernita Green. I sure would like to kill Bud, and I sure would like to kill L Driver. And there's Bill. Bill's also at the bottom of the list, right? That establishes malice aforethought for all subsequent murders, right? We already discussed how Vernita Green, there was malice aforethought, and then that was sort of relinquished. But for all of the other ones, all of the other persons on the list, that list is the malice aforethought list.
That's pretty damning evidence right there that she's contemplating murder for all these different people.
Right. It's going to be very difficult for her to prevail in arguing she did not have malice aforethought to kill everyone on the list of people she wanted to kill.
Right. So
she flies to Okinawa. Right.
She gets herself a yellow jumpsuit and a motorcycle.
Yeah, like Game of Death. She dresses like Bruce Lee in Game of Death.
Good call.
But first she weapons up.
Oh, that's right. Before she gets all Game of Deathy, she goes to a sushi bar.
Yeah, she wants to visit a man.
Yes. They play kind of coy with each other, and she asks for Hattori Hanzo.
Yeah, so she needs Japanese steel. She visits Hattori Hanzo, eats his lousy sushi.
He makes the sword and says that this sword could cut God himself, and then, I guess, sends her on her way and says, thanks for eating my sushi. She then gets her yellow jumpsuit and motorcycle, tracks down the crazy 88, and...
she follows him on a motorcycle, right? She knows that Oren Ishii is in that restaurant because she followed Oren Ishii to that restaurant.
Yes.
No question that she went there to kill Oren Ishii.
Yes. And so when she calls out Oren Ishii, Oren sends her bodyguards down, or, the part of the crazy 88.
We're being liberal. Everyone is just being liberal with the words crazy and 88, right? It's not really 88 people, and they aren't really crazy, but you get the idea.
Right. So they're just a bunch of people in black suits with white shirts and black ties. Some of them have gloves. I think some don't. And then they have masks on. Do they all have masks on?
Yeah. Everybody but Gogo.
Everybody but Gogo. So they start attacking. She's holding up, doing well. She's doing well. There's not a big number in the beginning, right? There's a few. They go down. She kills them. And then you hear motorcycles, or you hear more people coming in.
Yeah, more of the approximately 88 people arrive.
More of the approximate 88 arrive. And that includes Johnny Moe. Right? He wasn't with them, right? Johnny Moe showed up later.
Yeah, Johnny Moe, not a party animal, right? He's strictly business. He's
strictly business. So he shows up with the other, so it was 12 that were killed. We're going to say that maybe another 68, so 80-ish came. And the bride then picked up her Hattori Hanzo sword, struck a pose, and then everyone went to town.
And by went to town, you mean attempted to murder each other?
Yes, they painted the town red.
Yeah, and by town we mean restaurant.
And by red we mean blood.
And by paint we mean splatter.
She's slicing them up left and right. At the end of the day, she goes through the entire crazy 88, right? And not all of them are dead, by the way. She maims a lot of them, cutting off
serious bodily injury.
Maims them by cutting off their legs, kills a lot of them. She eventually fights Johnny Moe and beats him.
Johnny Moe is no Moe.
I hate you so much. I really hate this so much.
There's no Mo Johnny Mo.
So she beats
Hideo no Mo? Because, I mean... Am I just making this worse?
You're the worst. You're the worst. So the Crazy 88 come out. They attack her. More come out. They attack her. What would be your analysis of any of the Crazy 88?
Well, first of all, it is homicide. And second of all, the instinct is to say that those homicides were justifiable because the proverbially crazy 88 people engaged the bride in lethal combat. However, right, cutting against the argument that it was justifiable for Black Mamba to defend herself against the attack of the proverbially crazy approximately 88 people is she, the bride, elicited the use of force by the proverbially crazy approximately 88 people. And if you elicit the use of force against you, right, we discussed this with the Jedi mind trick, right?
That's right.
You can't victimize yourself to justify the use of deadly force. And that's basically what the bride did, right? She showed up and she announced to Oshii.
Oren Ishii,
right? She showed up and she announced to Oren Ishii, "Hi, Oren, I'm here to kill you because you upset me." That put everybody on notice. "Hi, I'm here to kill someone," right? The bride can no longer then rely on justifiable homicide because she announced that her purpose there was to commit homicide.
Wait, do you think she could have said, "Oren Ishii, you tried to kill me and my daughter, prepare to die"?
My name is Beatrix Kiddo.
My name is Beatrix Kiddo. You tried to kill me and my daughter. Prepare to die.
She could have. I mean, she could have said that, yeah.
So your analysis of the Crazy 88 is she baited them into fighting her with weapons because she pulled out a weapon. So she can't victimize herself. She can't say, well, they all had swords. Well, she pulled out a sword first and showed that she was very willing to use it.
Right, regardless of whether they generally commit lawful acts. In that specific moment, they all had the prerogative to defend themselves and Oren with lethal force because that was the bride's purpose, was to use lethal force to kill Oren.
Right. I would agree with that. I would say, so if the Crazy 88 were successful...
At that moment, they had how many jobs?
Well, one.
Right.
They had one job.
Did they do their one job?
Well, no. Actually, they all had one job.
Yeah, 88 people had one job.
88 people all had the same one job.
And not one of those approximately 88 people, did that one job.
So is it safe to say that you need more than 88?
Yeah, we're going to need a bigger 88.
So she finishes with the Crazy 88. They're all seriously injured or dead. Yep. What happens to Beatrix Kiddo?
Oh, if she were arraigned.
The cops come in, they grab her,
tried, yeah.
And then she's put in front of a judge.
And nothing further happens, right? Like they arrest her before Gogo and Oren and all
that. Right. The cops were sitting and watching, and they said, "Okay, that's all 88. Okay, let's take her in."
Yeah. So attempted murder for Sophie and murder one for the approximately 88 other people, right? Like separate counts of however many actual victims there were. Right, attempted murder for all of the ones that were not actually
killed, right?
Killed as a result.
Now see,
and then no defense, no justification for Beatrix.
There's an interesting caveat here. You're saying murder one. It could be murder two.
Okay, why would you say it would be second degree murder?
Because her plan in this whole thing is to go in and kill Oren Ishii. Now I'm with you with Sophie. Sophie got her arm cut off. Poor lady, attempted murder. That's without a doubt.
Right, incidental. She didn't even know that Sophie would be there. She didn't know about Sophie.
Right. But with the Crazy 88, you're saying it's murder one, but she did not go there with the purpose to kill them.
I understand that position, but I disagree because the bride knew that Oren was always surrounded by bodyguards, and she knew that the bodyguards used weapons, right? She knew about the Crazy 88. There's that whole narrative while she's on her way.
Oh, that's right. That's fair.
That's why I would prefer. I think I would tend to say it is murder one as opposed to murder two because she knew or should have known she would need to kill the bodyguards in order to prevail in killing Oren, which was her ultimate objective.
Okay.
Right, so it would be difficult for her to argue, gee, I didn't know about these bodyguards that I would have to kill. No, you knew that they were bodyguards. You knew you would have to kill them.
She knew it was reasonably likely she would have to kill them. So after the Crazy 88, who comes next? Oh,
Gogo.
The bodyguard. Gogo Yubari comes down, and she's the potentially legit crazy one. Oh, and then actually Beatrix gives her the chance to run away.
She actually says to Gogo, look, I know you're just, you think you're doing your job, you're defending your master, but you can go.
And she says no. She wants some. She wanted a piece of Black Mamba, wanted to make a point. So she comes out, drops the chain with the ball at the end of it, and then starts swinging it around.
Yeah, they both have deadly weapons. They're both using them, attempting to kill each other.
Yes. Okay, so Beatrix won the fight. What is her liability? What can happen to her?
So the analysis is very similar to the Crazy 88. It starts with the bride knowing, or should have known, that Oren would be surrounded by bodyguards, including but not limited to Gogo Yabari. Mm-hmm. And so when the bride arrives at the same restaurant after following Oren and the bodyguards, the bride announces, I am here with purpose to kill Oren Ishii. Naturally, all the bodyguards attempt to prevent that from happening. However, before Gogo engages the bride specifically says, you can leave. I'm begging you to leave so that I do not need to kill you. Right? The bride provides Gogo the opportunity to retreat, right? Like, hey, Gogo, I just killed like 80-ish people. You don't have to be another victim. And Gogo clearly declines that opportunity and then engages the bride. I'm going to say murder too, right? I'm not going to say that this was justifiable homicide because there was that underlying purpose of killing Oren. But I'm going to say murder too. I'm going to say second-degree murder because she specifically provided the opportunity for Gogo to leave. She said, look, Gogo, I would not like to kill you. I intend not to kill you. But it nevertheless resulted because her ultimate goal was to kill Gogo's employer.
See, I'd have to disagree again. I'd go with murder one.
Okay.
I'd go with murder one because Gogo has the right to defend the life of another. And the life that she's defending is Oren Ishii. And effectively saying, look, if you stay, I'm going to fight you and I'm going to kill you. That right there makes it murder one because it's planned out. And you said so yourself. She knew that you would have to kill her to get to Oren Ishii anyway. So that had to be planned. But the fact that they were conversing in advance kind of solidifies that point.
I understand your argument, and I understand the perspective from which you are considering the circumstances. I continue to disagree, though, because my perspective is if we were to try Beatrix Kiddo for the murder of Gogo Yabari, if the defense introduced as a mitigating factor the fact that, notwithstanding everything else that was happening, Beatrix Kiddo specifically provided Gogo the opportunity not to be a murder victim, I would find that compelling as a factor to lower Beatrix Kiddo's liability from murder one to murder two. I understand that Gogo had the prerogative to defend Oren, but the conduct of Beatrix Kiddo in the surrounding circumstances was intentionally calculated to avoid killing Gogo, and yet it ultimately resulted in killing Gogo, right? But nevertheless, there was that mitigating factor. Gogo, you don't have to die right now if you walk away.
I don't know. I mean, let's take Gogo out of it. Let's say Gogo is just some random patron in this place. She's not the bodyguard. She's just some random person. And Beatrix is making her way towards Oren Ishii, draws her sword, and this person comes out and attacks Beatrix Kiddo. You don't know me. I don't know you. I don't know Oren. Oren doesn't know me. I'm just here because I don't want to see that person die from you. I can protect her. Anybody has the right to defend her. And if you then threaten that person, that's an aggravating factor in that she's taken the time to plan out, look, leave or I will kill you. There's your plan. There's your premeditation then, because all you're doing is threatening the person. You're not really affording them an opportunity. You're saying, leave or I'll kill you too.
First of all, I don't think that's the content of the statement by Beatrix Kiddo.
It's not.
And
it's not.
I don't think it's the implication of the statement, right? So Beatrix Kiddo admittedly had malice aforethought to kill Oren Ishii, right? That's home run, first degree murder. If she succeeds, that's first degree murder, home run.
Right. In fact, it may not even be malice aforethought. It may be malice of first thought.
Yeah, all kinds of malice.
Zing.
Yeah. So home run, murder one. Oren Ishii, right. But I'm reluctant to automatically assign murder one to all other homicides incidental to the murder of Oren Ishii based on some sort of derivative liability, and I would consider each of them in isolation, and I would consider as a mitigating factor, regardless of who it was, whether it was Gogo, whether it was Charlie Brown. If she says, you have the opportunity, right? Like the other guy, like let's say that there was somebody who was not some crony of Oren, present there. She says, look, Charlie Brown, you have the opportunity to run away. Gee, I'd sure like to kill Oren Ishii, but I sure would not like to kill you. Mm-hmm. I find that a compelling mitigating circumstance, regardless of who it is.
Well, I agree with you to the extent that each kill should be individually evaluated.
Right.
Again, I would go with my murder one on Gogo or anyone else also who steps up, and I don't think they have the obligation to run away. But this is going to be one of those agree to disagree moments, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she has no liability
right, and
for the ultimate homicide.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying because the intent was to kill Oren specifically, and she announced to the other victim, in this case Gogo, I specifically do not intend to kill you. I think that reduces it from first-degree murder to second-degree murder. It still is the murder of Gogo, but it is a second-degree murder because she provided the opportunity for Gogo not to be a murder victim, and she did not have an intent to kill Gogo.
I think we're both in agreement that she's definitely going to jail for something. I'm arguing it's murder one, and you're arguing it's murder two. This is why we have these discussions, and we always like to hear what the people listening also think it is. But I think we've laid out both arguments quite compellingly to say why it could be one or the other. Now we just have to leave it up to our own jury, effectively.
Yeah, jury of one's peers.
Jury of one's peers.
Jury of Beatrix Kiddo's peers.
Which I'm not quite sure what that would comprise of, but
it would be the deadly viper. Like she killed all of her peers.
She killed all her peers, so that might be tough. So now we're approaching the end of Kill Bill 1. She then goes up the stairs. She goes outside, and all of a sudden she's on a nice snowy platform.
It's this beautiful scene. Oren's in a kimono, and Beatrix looks like she's, in Game of Death?
Game of Death, yep. And they exchange some banter. Oren then proceeds to kick off her sandals and step socks first into the snow, which seems a little crazy, but okay.
But that's how you know it gets real, right? When you remove your sandals?
Oh yeah, it got real at that moment. Stuff got real. Stuff got real. And then they agreed to engage in mutual combat, but I think it's clear that from the beginning, this was Beatrix's whole plan, to go there and kill Oren.
Yeah, it was on the list.
It was on the list.
It was, dear list, I sure would like to kill Oren Ishii.
Dear Santa, I've sure been good this year, seeing as I was in a coma and could not do anything bad.
By default, I was good.
By default, I was good. Please, I would like to kill these people. Love, Beatrix.
All I want for Christmas is murder.
So they engage in combat. And I think Oren gets a cut on Beatrix.
It's a deep wound. That's a good hit.
It got a good hit on her.
Round one, Oren.
Exactly. Okay, so from that point, just stopping at round one, Beatrix is not dead. Oren is not injured. Let's say the fight is stopped right there.
Attempted murder, Oren.
Attempted murder by Oren?
Actually, not attempted murder, right? So far, no liability. I mean, assault.
Well, she has a defense, right?
Right.
So, I mean, her defense is self-defense. She's saying...
Actually, yeah, no liability. No battery, no attempted murder,
Nope.
right? Like, both of them.
I mean, wouldn't we have to say that Beatrix does, in fact, have to answer for something here? She went with the list and everything, and this is what she wanted to do the whole time. And
yeah, but she hasn't struck Oren yet.
But she swung the sword.
But she didn't cause any bodily injury.
Right. So, but that's why at this point, just from the first cut, if everything stopped after the first cut, when Oren cuts Beatrix, if it stopped right there, can we get Beatrix for anything? And I would say attempted murder.
A swing and a miss is attempted murder.
A swing and a miss is attempted murder.
Well, a swing and a miss with a lethal weapon.
With a lethal weapon.
You're going to say that's attempted murder?
I don't think you actually have to hit the person. I think you just have to try to hit the person, and it has to be reasonable that what you're trying to do is hit that person.
So being bad at murder is not a defense to attempted murder?
No. It just means you're bad at murder.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So attempted murder, Beatrix, no liability, Oren. Right, defending myself from the person who showed up to murder.
Exactly. So it goes on a little longer, and then...
Ultimately, Beatrix takes a little off the top, right?
Yeah, a haircut. A trim, if you will. And that trim includes a patch of hair, some scalp, some skull,
some brain,
and a little bit of brain. Little brain. And that is the end of Oren Ishii. So what happens to Beatrix?
Murder
one. We already talked about that. It's murder one. She got murder one.
Yeah, Dear Diary, I'm going to kill Oren. She killed Oren. Murder one.
So yeah, as we approach the end of Kill Bill Volume 1, she pulls Sophie Fatale out of the trunk, rolls her down a hill. She goes to a hospital. Bill finds her and asks her what happened and everything. And that's kind of the end of Kill Bill Volume 1.
Yeah, so again, we love to hear what you think about all of the homicides in Kill Bill Volume 1. We will be back in the following episode with the conclusion of the murders in Kill Bill Volume 2. As always, we are on Facebook, Jurisfiction, Twitter, @Jurisfiction1, Instagram, Jurisfiction.
You can find us on YouTube by looking for Jurisfiction. And don't forget our website, www.jurisfiction.net.
Thanks for listening.